So hello guys, my name is Miss Aubrey, and for today we'll just have a recall of our past lessons. So let's proceed. Our first lesson, we have simple interest. Terminologies used in simple interest. So we have simple interest is the interest charged on the principal P alone for the entire duration or period T of the loan or investment at a particular rate. So yung simple interest, siya yung tubo or yung kikitain natin sa principal P na ininvest or binarrowed at a duration or period at a particular rate. Next is principal or present value P, amount of money borrowed or invested on the origin date. So ito yung original amount of money na ipinapahiram or ini-invest or deposit, yan, on the origin date. Origin date means yung araw na kung kailan pinahiram or in-invest yung money. Rate of interest or simply rate are annual rate, usually in percent, charged by the lender or rate of increase of the investment. So sa mga problem, makikita nyo naman yung rate of interest, usually in percent siya. And kapag percent siya, need natin siya i-convert into decimal bago natin i-solve or i-calculate. Time or term. Amount of time in years the money is borrowed or invested. Length of time between the origin and maturity dates. So dito sinusukat yung amount of time in years the money is borrowed, okay, between sa panahon na pinahiram yung pera, origin, hanggang sa kung kailan magmamature yung pera or magkakaroon ng tubo. Interest is the amount paid or earned for the use of money. So siya yung tutubuin or tubo. So ito na yung simple interest formula. Diba? We have simple interest, I is equal to principal P times rate R times time T. Or, para mas madaling visualize, I is equal to PRT. Yan, tayo gamitin natin kung solve tayo ng problem, di ba? Yan, we have an example. Find the simple interest on a loan of 65,000 pesos if the loan is given at a rate of 2% and is due in 5 years and 3 months. So, hinahanap yung simple interest sa niloan na 65,000 at a rate of 2% and is due in 5 years and 3 months. So, hanapin natin yung given. So, for our P or principal, yung 65,000 kasi siya yung loan money. For our R, di ba, interest rate, 2%, usually in percent. Yan. So, kapag per percent, di ba, need natin i-convert sa decimal number. Yan. So, i-move lang natin ng dalawang beses sa left ang decimal point. Yung percent magiging decimal point, move natin siya dalawang beses. Then, magiging 0.02 siya. O kaya naman, i-divide na natin yung 2% sa 100 para maging 0.02. Time, 5 years and 3 months. Diba? Pag ganyan, yung 3 months, di ba, kailangan pa natin siya i-convert sa years by dividing it to 12. Di ba? So, 3 natin. 3 divided by 12. Yan. Meron tayong 0.25, tapos i-add lang natin yung 5 years. That's 5. Bali, ang time natin ay 5.25. Yan. 5.25 years. So, ang formula natin, dahil simple lang interest ang nanap ay I is equals PRT. So, substitute lang natin yan. P is 65,000 pesos. Ang R natin ay 0.02 times time natin ay yung 5.25 years. So, multiply natin yan. 65,000 times 0.02 times 5.25 equals 6,825. Check natin kung tama. So, tama. So, ganyan lang kumuha ng simple interest. Next, principal is unknown. Ito lang yung mga formula nila. Principal, P, is equal to interest over rate, R times time, T. Or P is equal to I over RT. Or principal P is equal to future value F minus interest. So, gagamitin na natin ito kapag given ang ating future value. Tapos, meron na rin tayong interest. I-find na natin difference nila para makuha yung principal. Rate is unknown. Rate R is equal to interest over principal P times time, T. Or R is equal to I over PT. Yeah. Time is unknown. Time T is equal to interest over principal P times rate R, or T is equal to I over PR. So, yun yung mga formula nila. So, maturity value or future value F. Amount after years T that the lender receives from the borrower on the maturity date equal to the sum of principal P and the interest I earned. So, maturity value, ito na yung principal natin or yung amount of money na meron na siyang tubo, okay? So, ganun na mahanap. Principal P and equal to the sum of principal P and the interest I earned. So, ito yung formula niya. F is equal to P plus I. Or kapag wala tayong interest, pwede naman natin gamitin ito para mahanap yung future value. F is equal to P plus PRT. Okay naman, F is equal to P times 1 plus RT. Yan. So, gagamitin natin dalawa kapag wala tayong interest. Tapos, hahanapin natin yung F. So, may ito-solve tayo dito ngayon. Directions, complete the table below by solving the unknown quantities in each row. So, yan. So, ito-solve natin yung naging activity natin sa activity number 1. So, ang nawawala sa number 1 ay simple interest and future. Sa number 2 naman ay future value. So, solve natin sila. So, hanapin natin given, di ba ang ating P ay 40,000, rate is 2%, and magiging 0.02, kasi convert sa decimal, and ang time natin ay 3 years. So, I ay nawawala, so ang formula natin ay I is equal to PRT. Substitute, P is 40,000, R is 0.02, T is 3 years. So, multiply lang natin yan. Diba? 40,000 times 0.02, 3. Then, meron na tayong 2,400. Yan. Then, sa future value naman, F is equal to P plus I. So, ang P natin ay 40,000. Add lang natin yung ating interest na nakuha natin. Yan, 40,000 plus 2,400. Ang ating F ay magiging 42,400 pesos. So, yan, nakuha natin. Ganyan na kunin ang simple interest and future value. So, next, sa ating number 3 and number 4 naman, time ang hinahanap sa number 3 and sa 4, future value ulit. So, solution, ang natin given, P is 250,000 pesos. Ang ating RI, 4.5%. Move natin ng 2 beses ang decimal point sa left. Kakaroon tayo ng 0.045. Ang time natin ay nawawala. Ang I natin ay 15,400 pesos. So, hanapin natin ang ating time. Ang formula IT is equals to I over PR. Substitute, yung I natin ay 15,400 over, ang P natin ay 250,000 times ang ating rate, which is 0.045. So, solve muna natin yung nasa baba, yung denominator natin, which is 250,000 pesos times 0.045. So, ito makuha natin. Yan. 11,250. So, i-divide natin ang 15,400 sa 11,250. Then, itong lalabas sa calculator nyo. Yan, marami siyang 80 ba? Yan. So, pag ganyan, 1.336888888, yan, or i-round off na natin ang ating 6 kasi mataas na number naman ang katabi niya. So, magiging 1.37 years na siya. So, dahil nakuha na natin yung ating time at given ang ating principal and simple interest, pwede na natin makuha ang ating future value. So, gamitin natin yung F is equals to P plus I, substitute 250,000 pesos plus 15,400 pesos. So, ang ating FI, 265,400 pesos. Yeah. Yung ating number 5 naman and number 6. So, simple interest ulit na nawawala, diba? So, hanapin muna natin given. Yung pin natin ay 12,345 pesos. Ang ating rate ay 8.25%. So, kailangan natin tanggalin ang percent. So, mumulang ulit natin ang decimal ng 2 beses sa left. We will then have 0.0825. Sa ating time, 9 months, di ba? So, i-divide natin ang 9 months sa 12. Then we will have 0.75 years. Ay, ano wala? So, for our I, ang formula na gamitin ay I is equals to P or T. Substitute. P is 12,342 pesos times 0.0825 times 0.75. So, solve natin. 0.08 75. So, yan. Ito natin nakuha. 763.66125. So, yun. Kunin na natin yung last two numbers bago yung decimal. At wala naman need i-round off. Kaya ang ating simple interest ay 763 pesos and 66 centavos. So, for our future value, nakuha natin yung I. Substitute na natin yung P and I. 12,345 plus 763 pesos 0.66 centavos. We will then have 13,108 pesos 0.66 centavos. So, next. Tapos na tayo dito. So, proceed tayo sa panibagong lesson. So, sa lesson 2, compound interest. So, we have compound interest I is usually used by banks in calculating interest for long-term investments and loans such as savings and account and time deposits. So, itong compound interest, mas nag-benefit yung mga investor dito kasi mas malaki yung interest na nakukuha nila and mas ginagamit to ng bangko kasi pang long-term investment and transaction to. Next, in this type of interest, the interest due at stipulated interval is added to the principal and earns interest thereafter. So yung interest added to the principal also earns another interest. So mas lumalaki siya over time. Is an interest resulting from the periodic addition of simple interest to the principal amount or simply the difference between the compound amount and the original principal yan. So, kada period ay nagko-compound dito ng interest. And para mahanap din siya, i-minus mo lang yung compound amount or yung future amount ng interest, ay future amount na may interest. Yung future value, I mean. I-minus mo lang yun, i-minus mo lang siya sa original principal. Terms used in compound interest. We have compound amount, F, yan. Also called maturity value, yan. It is an accumulated or earned or gathered amount obtained by adding the principal and the compound interest. So, karaniwang ginagamit sa compound amount ay ang word na accumulated. So, yan. Terms used in compound interest. Yan, meron tayong conversion periods, M. The number of times in a year the interest will be compounded. So, nakadepende siya sa conversion period kung kailan i-compound ang interest. The following are the common conversion periods in a year. So, we have annually, or M is equals to 1. Semi-annually, M is equals to 2. Quarterly, M is equals to 4. Monthly is M is equals to 12. So, pag annually, once a year siya or every 360 days. Semi-annually naman, twice a year or every 180 days or every 6 months nagko-compound ng interest. Pag quarterly naman, 4 times a year or every 90 days or every 3 months nagko-compound ng interest. Pag monthly naman, 12 times a year or every 180 days or every month nagko-compound ng interest. Yan. Nakaka-show na yung I natin. Compound interest formulas. Yan. We have F is equals to P times 1 plus I raised to N. Or F is equals to P times 1 plus R over M raised to NT. So para makuha mo yung R, yung J ay yung I natin. For periodic rate, yan. R over M. Tapos ang ating N naman ay M over T. Where F is compound amount or maturity value, yan. P is present value of F, yan. Yung P yung present value na kung saan wala pang interest. I is periodic rate, wherein I is equals to R over M, yan. R is the annual interest rate. M is conversion period, yan. Ito yung mga conversion period niya. And total number of conversion periods or N is equals to MT. So ito yung formula natin kapag ito yung compound interest formula when principal or P is unknown. P is equals to F times 1 plus I raised to negative N. So kung na kasi yung nagkapalit na yung F. Yung position ng P and F. Tapos naging negative ang N. Or P is equals to F times 1 plus R over M raised to negative MT. Ito, isa pa tong way para makuha yung compound interest. F minus P. Kapag given yung F and P mo. Or I is equals to P times quantity 1 plus I raised to N minus 1. So we have an example here. Find the present value of 12,850 pesos due in 3 years if the interest rate is 6% compounded monthly. So, hinahanap yung present values dito. Hanapin natin yung given muna. F natin is 12,850 pesos. T is due in 3 years. Ang ating rate ay 6% or 0.06. M natin ay compounded monthly, so 12. Ang I natin ay R over M, so will have 0.06 over 12 or 0.005. Ang N naman natin ay N equals to MT or 12 times 3. So we'll have N 36 as our N. And ito yung gagamitin nating formula. So let's try to solve it in our calculator. So F natin ay 12,500 ay 850 pesos. 1 plus our I is 0.005. Then erase natin sa negative 36 kasi N. So, ito na. This is our present value. Okay. Ito na yung present value ng 12,850 pesos, which is due in 3 years at a 6% interest rate compounded monthly. So, ilagay na natin. So, our fee is each year. 738 point. Round off natin yung 3. So, 0.4. Yan. Okay. Next we have rate R is unknown. So ito yung formula na gamitin natin. R is equals to M times quantity F over P raised to 1 over N minus 1. Pag time is unknown naman, T is equals to log times F over P all over M times log times 1 plus I. So we have here a problem na galing sa ating activity number 2. Ang problem dito ay interest rate ay unknown. So at what interest rate compounded semi-annually will 15,000 pesos accumulate to 25,000 pesos in 10 years? So hanapin natin given. So for our P, we have 15,000 pesos. F ay 25,000 pesos. T ay 10 years. M is compounded semi-annually, so 2. N is N times T. So 2 times 10, we have 20. And ang ating R ay missing. So wala tayong I. So ito yung gagamitin nating formula. Substitute lang. So R is equals to 2 times quantity 25,000 over 15,000 raised to 1 over di ba dapat sorry, pero dapat 20 to 0. Yeah. 1 over 20 minus 1. So, solve na natin sa calculator. Ating magiging sagot. So, solve muna natin nasa loob ng parentheses, which is 25,000 divided by 15,000. Lang tayo. 1.6. Raise natin sa 1 over 20. Then minus natin sa 1. Yan. Yan yung nakuha natin sa got. Then i-times natin sa 2. So ito na yung ating R. So dahil ang rate yung nawawala, interest rate, need pa nating i-move ang decimal para maging percent. So i-move lang natin yung decimal pabalik naman sa right ng 2 beses. So, ang magiging sagot natin ay, para sa ating percent ay 5.17 kasi hanggang, na tayo, 2 numbers lang kapag sa tabi ng decimal. So, 5.17% lang. Wala natin. 4.05 74 0 or 5.17%. So 17 lang siya kasi hindi naman siya kailangan i-round off kasi hindi naman mataas ang 4, ang value ng 4. So, ito na yung ating R. So, for our time na lang, i-use ko lang yung problem. So, how many years will it take for 13,000 pesos to become 20,000 pesos at 12.5% compounded annually? So, given ay F, natin ay 20,000 pesos. Ang P naman ay 13,000 pesos. Ang R ay 12.5% or 0.125. T natin ay missing. M ay compounded annually, so 1. Ang ating I ay R over M is equals to 0.125 over 1 equals 0.125. So, ito yung formula natin gagamitin, di ba? So, lagyan na natin. Substitute natin. Log. F natin ay 20,000. 20. Divide na lang natin. 20,000 over P natin ay 13,000. Over. M natin ay 1. Log. 1 plus. Ang ating I ay 0.125. So, lagyan natin siya ng over. Yeah. So, isolve natin siya sa ating cycle. Let's try. So, yung nasa itaas muna. Log. Tapos, pwede naman 20,000 divided by 13,000 equals. Yan. So, yan yung at nasa ating numerator. Ang ating answer. Then, divide by 1 and 1. Log. Tapos, 1 plus 0.125. So, yan. So, sa ating time, meron tayong 3.65 yan. Ang nakatanong niya ay 7. I-round off natin yung 65 magiging 66 years. So, ayan ang ating time. Next. So, next we have simple annuity. Annuity computes the future value, present value, and periodic payment of simple annuity. So sa annuity, meron tayong the term of an annuity. The time between the first payment interval and the last payment interval. So yung first payment interval, siya tinatawag na present value P, the amount of money needed to invest today in order to receive a series of payments for a given numbers of years in the future. In the future. And yung last payment naman, siya naman yung magiging future value natin or F. The future plus amount of a series of payments plus interest. Yeah. So yung payment na gagamitin sa kanila every interval ay tinatawag na regular or periodic payment or R. The amount of each payment sa every payment interval. Next, annuity. According to payment interval in the interest period, simple annuity. An annuity where the payment interval is the same as the interest period. So, equal yung payment interval at saka interest period dito. While sa general annuity naman, an annuity where the payment interval is not the same as the interest period. So, magkaiba sila yung payment interval niya at saka yung interest period. According to time of payment, ordinary annuity, a type of annuity in which the payments are made at the end of each payment interval. According to duration, annuity certain, an annuity in which payments begin and end at definite times. So ito yung ordinary annuity. Ordinary simple annuities, type siya ng ordinary annuity. So, the payment interval yan is equals to the compounding interval. So, sample niya ay monthly payments and monthly payments ang ang payment interval ay monthly and ang pag-compound naman ng interest ay monthly din. So, ordinary general annuities naman, the payment interval differs from the compounding interval. So, sample niya, ang payment interval ay monthly but pagka-compound ng interest ay semi-annually. So, formula para sa future value. The future value of an ordinary annuity with regular payments are at a nominal interest rate ay compounded M times a year after T years is yan. So, etong pareho lang to ng formula. So, nakadepende sa inyo kung ano yung gagamitin nyo, pero I suggest mas madali ito. Kapag hinahanap ang future value. So, note, J is equals to I over M, N is equals to M times T. So, formula para sa present value naman, the present value P of an ordinary annuity with regular payments are at a nominal interest rate I compounded M times a year after T years is, yan. Ito yung formula niya. So, pareho lang ulit sila, pero mas madali ito gamitin. So, P is equals to R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N all over J. So, yung note, tandaan. So we have a problem here where present value is missing. Find the present value of an ordinary annuity with regular quarterly payments worth 1,000 pesos at 3% annual interest rate compounded quarterly at the end of 4 years. So, simple ordinary annuity siya kasi yung payment interval niya ay quarterly and ang pag-compound ng interest ay quarterly din. And ang hinahanap ay present value. So, given natin ay R is equals to 1,000 pesos. I is equals to 3% or 0.03. Yan ang I natin. M ay compounded quarterly, so 4. Time natin ay 4 years, so 4 din. J natin ay I over M. So 0.03 over 4 yung N natin. So ang ating J ay 0.0075. Ang ating N ay M times T, so 4 times T, 4 equals to 16. So ito ang formula na gamitin. Dahil present value na wala, P is equals to R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus I over M raised to M T and over I over M. So substitute R 1,000 sa loob ng parenthesis. Yung I over M ay 0.03 over 4 raised to negative 4 times 4 all over 0.03 over 4. So, pag sinod natin na sa loob, yung 1 plus 0.03 over 4, ito, kuha natin sagot. Di ba yung ating J, ayan. So, 1.0075 kasi inad yung 1. Tapos yung ating ano naman, exponent, multiply lang, so negative 16. Copy lang yung J sub denominator. Next naman, yan. Sinolve naman yun nasa parenthesis, raised to negative 16. Sinolve. So, ito na yung makuha nating sagot. So, copy lang yung 1 minus parenthesis na answer natin all over ating J. Ganyan. So, ito yung makukuha natin sagot over 0.075. So, hanapin naman natin mga solution nito nasa loob. So, ito na yung makukuha ulit natin sagot. Then, i-multiply natin nasa parenthesis sa ating regular payment, which is 1,000. Then, our final answer will be 15,024 pesos and 31 centavos. So, check natin siya kung tama ba siya sa ating calculator. Ito na agad. Solve natin to. Answer. 1 minus yung answer. Yan. So, tama, di ba? Divide naman natin yung answer natin sa 0.0075. So, tama din. Then, i-multiply natin sagot sa ating regular payment. So, yan. No need na i-round off kasi tulad naman ang katabi ng 31 natin. So, ito na ang ating final answer and ito na ang ating present value. Next, we have periodic payment R of an annuity. Periodic payment R can also be solved using the formula for amount, future value F, or present value P of an annuity. So, itong gagamitan natin formula kapag meron tayong future value or given ang ating future value and hinahanap ang R. Ito naman kapag given ang ating present value. So, note, J is equals to I over M, N is equals to M times T, where R is the regular payment, P is the present value of an annuity, F is the future value of an annuity, J is the interest rate per period, N is the number of payments. So, meron tayong sample ng problem dito. To start a business, Jake wants to save a certain amount of money at the end of every month to put in an account providing 2% interest compounded monthly. His estimated startup capital is 150,000 pesos. If he wants to start a business in 1.5 years, how much monthly deposit must he put into the account? So, hinahanap yung regular payment. So, given ang ating future value dito kasi, ito yung estimated na na money na kailangan niya para makapag-start siya ng business. So, FI 150,000, I natin ay 2% interest rate or 0.02. M natin ay compounded monthly, so 12. Time natin ay 1.5. J is equals to 0.02 over 12 equals yan. M natin ay 12 times 1.5, so we have 18. So, ito yung formula natin gagamitin. So, substitute natin 150,000 as our F. Tapos, yung I over M, yan na. Ang J natin, di ba, ay copy lang, raised to our, sorry, this is, ano pala? This is N pala. N. n pala to. So, ang n natin ay 18. So, yan. Minus 1 all over j. Next, yan. Sinolve lang natin yung, yung ating j. Inad natin sa 1 and erase natin sa 18. So, ito yung sagot. Then, i-minus natin sa 1. So, ito na. Copy lang yung then, ang sunod natin sa solve ay yung numerator natin sa ating denominator. So, ang makukuha natin ay 18.25728609. Then, i-divide naman natin ang ating f sa ating denominator. Then, we will have, yeah, 8215.897985. Check natin kung tama. 150,000 divided by 18.25728609. So, tama. Then, pag ganyan, i-round off na lang natin. Diba? Kasi mataas ang katabi ng 89. So, pag niround off natin ng 89, magiging 90, then our R will be 8,215 pesos, 0.90 centavos. So, yeah. So, next lesson, general annuity. General annuity, an annuity where the length of the payment interval is not the same as the length of the interest compounding period. So we have an example here, monthly installment payment of a car loan or house with an interest rate that is compounded annually. So monthly ang installment payment or interval payment, pero ang pag-compound ng interest ay annually. Second, paying a debt semi-annually when the interest is compounded monthly. So ang payment interval niya ng utang ay semi-annually, pero ang pag-compound ng interest ay monthly. So, ganyan ang general annuity. How about general ordinary annuity? A general annuity, ordinary annuity in which the periodic payment is made at the end of the payment intervals. Future value of a general ordinary annuity. The future value f of a general ordinary annuity is given by f is equals to r times quantity 1 plus j raised to n minus 1 all over j. So dito sa general ordinary annuity, mahalaga na hanapin natin ang j bago natin ma-solve ang ating missing or unknown quantities or variables. Yan. Yan. So, pag natin masagot ang ating f or future value, kailangan muna natin hanapin ang j. And ito ang formula niya. So, j is equals to 1 plus r over m sub 2 raised to m sub 2 over m sub 1 minus 1. So, ang n natin dyan ay m sub 1 times t. So, it's related. So, where R is the regular payment, J is the equivalent interest rate per payment interval converted from the interest rate per period, and the number of payments, R is the nominal rate, M sub 1 is the payment interval, M sub 2 is the length of compounding period. Present value of a general ordinary annuity. The present value P of a general ordinary annuity is given by P is equals to R times 1 minus quantity 1 plus J raised to negative N all over J. J is equals to 1 plus R over M sub 2 raised to M sub 2 over M sub 1 minus 1. So, yun yung formula. So, gamitin natin yung last problem natin para mag-solve na general ordinary annuity. So we have Ken borrowed an amount of money from Kat. He agrees to pay the principal plus interest by paying 38,973 pesos, 0.76 centavos each year for 3 years. So, yan yung payment interval natin. And ito yung regular payment. How much money did he borrow if the interest is 8% compounded quarterly? So, present value ang hinahanap. Dito kasi hinahanap ay yung P. Yun yung binarrow, di ba? So, pag binarrow, P agad ang gagamitin natin. Given R is equals to 38,973 pesos and 76 centavos. Time natin ay 3 years. R natin ay 8% or 0.08. M sub 1 is 1. Kasi each year daw, di ba? Then M sub 2 natin ay 4 kasi compounded quarterly naman. N natin ay 1 times 3 or 3 kasi M sub 1 times time. Okay. So first, nagagawin natin ay convert 8% compounded quarterly to its equivalent interest rate for each payment interval. So J. So substitute natin ang ating R ay 0.08. M sub 2 natin ay 4 raised to M sub 2 over M sub 1, 4 over 1 minus 1. Then pag sinolve natin, ito makukuha natin as our J. So may J na tayo, pwede natin isolve ang ating P. So ito yung formula sa P, substitute na natin 38,973 pesos, 0.76 centavos times 1 minus 1 plus our J raised to negative 3. Kasi ang ating N ay 3 all over J ulit. So dito na natin siya isolve. So 1 plus J, ano na natin? Sabi natin na siya, 1.08, 24, 32, 16. Raise natin sa negative 3. So ito na yung sagot. Copy lang natin answer natin, then i-minus natin sa 1. So 1 minus our answer kanina. Yan. So yan ang ating magiging panibagong numerator. So, i-divide naman natin siya sa ating J sa denominator. Yan. Divided by 0.08, 24, 32, 16. Yan. So, yan ang ating panibagong sagot sa loob ng parentheses. Yan. So, doon natin na sa loob ng parentheses. Then, i-multiply naman natin siya sa ating R. So, answer natin times 38,973.76. So, yan. So, ang ating present value na binarrowed ni Ken kay Kat ay 100,000 pesos. So, lagay natin dito. Pili natin ay 100 BHP. 100,000 point. So, ito na yung ating P. So, ganyan lang kuhanin yung present value. So next, cash value is a term that refers to payments received or cash inflows or payments or deposits made or cash outflows Cash inflows can be represented by positive numbers and cash outflows can be represented by negative numbers. We have fair market value or economic value. So, tinatawag din siya, yung fair market value, tinatawag din siya economic value, right? Of a cash flow, payment stream on a particular date refers to a single amount that is equivalent to the value of the payment stream at that date. This particular date is called focal date. So, yan lang. So, yan lang ating review for today. So, sa cash value, hindi ko pakita dahil hindi ko naman siya sinama sa quiz. Aralin niyo na lang yung definition kasi yung definition yung sinama ko. So, thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye.